if none of these are being updated, then we go to the custom fields if any custom field in the Trello side has been updated. So firstly we check which custom field has been updated using the Trello response which we get from the Trello trigger. Then we find which ID it is equal to, and we have used the variables over here to actually store all the IDs for matching which ID is currently being updated in the Trello side. After that we move to which field has been updated. So if it's a priority or a delivery or status, fixed version, initiative, confidence, or any scope agreement has been updated. So if the user has updated the priority field, so we are extracting the priority and checking if it's not been made to null, because we don't want to change the priority, since in Trello once the priority has been set, it will not be going to be changed again to any kind of previous priorities. So if the priority has been set to null, then we will be changing in the Trello side to neutral again. And if it's not been null, then we have to check if it's not same in the update, in the previous update, and update the priority based on that. Secondly, if we go to the delivery side, so if the delivery has been updated in Trello side, then we extract the delivery ID from Jira, as you can see. So we are taking the ID value, the data ID value, and then returning. If the Trello ID option ID is null, then we just set it to null. That means in the Jira side it will be set back to null. That means no option has been selected in Jira side. And if there is any value, then we extract the ID and then pass it on towards the custom response object, which is having a Jira delivery option ID to be set, and we pass on to the next node. So if both the IDs are not same, then we move forward and update it using an HTTP request, because it was having to set that ID, as you can see. And we are setting up the response object, which we have JSON object which we have to send over to update that ID, as there was not any particular node given to us to update this delivery in Jira side. So moving forward, if any kind of status has been changed in Jira side, in Trello side, so with status there was particularly a problem that functionality that in Jira side we cannot move back to the previous status. So if the status has been moved forward, we cannot go backward. So for executing this functionality in Trello side, we have to implement quite a few nodes here. So firstly we extract that ID which has been getting changed in the Trello side and pass it on forward, and then check if it's not same. So and we set the status transition. Then based on the response of this transition, we actually check in the next node that if there is an error occurring. So if in Jira side we try to set an ID for the status which has been a previous of the current status ID, and just like going from A to B and then moving back to B, this is the same. So an error occurs and it has been returned, and we have to check over here that if there is an error, that means we are setting the current status towards a backward. So here we set this back to the original one which was being set so in Trello side, because we don't want to have a different, like in Trello side there is a different status been selected, we have to sync it. So we set in the Trello side back whatever was the ID of that current Jira issue, we set it back to it using the ID, and in Trello side also we updated using this HTTP method. So moving forward, if there is any update in the fixed version field, so we check it if its both side is not empty. If it's not empty, then we move forward and then split the release field based on since there are different release options which are being given to us, and based on the project it can be different. So here we are changing it to like making an array of all that release fields, and then we fetch all the projects version from here. Then we aggregate it to actually make it combine as a one object, as a one array, to iterate over it multiple times. Then we filter the matching fixed version in over here. So as you can see, once for all item it has been set, so it will loop again and again and run this code for every object on the array in the object in the array actually. Then we check if the release field name exists in Jira. So here we check if it exists or not. If it doesn't exist, then we update the Trello side back to the old value of the release. If it's exists, then we simply check if it's not same, and then create a fixed version array. Like there can be multiple options which can be selected, so multiple selection field which was not there in Trello, so we have to create this array and then update the Jira side particularly. So you can see we pass this array over here. Moving forward towards the next step, so if Trello initiative is empty, so initiative is kind of a parent in Jira, so we have to update a parent, like an issue has a parent to it. So if it's empty, then we simply just update it in Jira side. If it's not, then we get all the initiatives which are basically the parent element type for any. So there was a condition that all the parents will be belonging to initiative type only. Then we extract the matching initiative issue using some JavaScript over here. So we find the value. If it's not null, then we check the text, we are getting the text, and then we are searching it based on the summary. So there was a specific condition that no issue in Jira will be having the same summary, so using that we are doing it. So if the initiative exists, then we simply just check for the same, again the infinite loop check, and then simply update the parent. If it doesn't, so if it doesn't exist, so we just check if the summary is empty in Jira and the initiative doesn't exist, then we update initiative back to the previous value in Trello. Moving ahead, next item, extracting the Jira confidence ID. So there was another field, confidence, which we have to update. So we get the ID simply just like how we were doing for the other option IDs, option fields, extracting the ID and then updating it in the Jira side. So we check for the infinite loop and then update it simply over here using the HTTP request, then update it. Moving forward to the last, so scope agreement date. So this was a date field which was being set. So if any kind of changes are being put in this, then we have to change it to actually format the date, and based on that it updates the scope agreement field in the Jira side. So if we have to format the date based on a specific form to actually send in the JSON body for the Jira update, so here is that. Then we simply just update it the field. So here you can see it. So we are updating. This is the field value which we actually want, which we are extracting from the variables node, and updating it with this field. So this is the object value which has been returned from the JavaScript code. We are updating it. So currently this is what has been running for the sync process from Trello to Jira side. Next up we will be taking a look at Jira to Trello sides.